Are you missing the subtle signs that could indicate a loved one has only months left to live? In the next 15 minutes, I'll reveal 7 silent warnings that medical professionals at Johns Hopkins and Mayo Clinic say appear up to 6 months before the end of life. This knowledge could help you provide better care and make precious time count. The 7th sign is so commonly overlooked that even experienced nurses miss it, yet it's one of the most reliable indicators, according to hospice specialists. Beatrice from Arizona noticed her 80-year-old husband seemed different, but couldn't pinpoint exactly what had changed. 3 months later, doctors confirmed he had entered his final stage of life. The signs had been there all along. She just didn't know what to look for. Sign 1. Dramatic changes in sleep patterns. When an elderly person suddenly starts sleeping 15 or more hours daily or becomes completely restless at night, their body may be preparing for its final transition. This isn't ordinary tiredness from aging, but a fundamental shift in how the body manages energy and consciousness. The change often happens gradually over several weeks, making it easy to dismiss as normal fatigue. Research from Harvard Medical School's Geriatric Division shows that end-of-life sleep pattern changes occur because the body begins conserving energy for essential functions while simultaneously experiencing neurological changes that affect the sleep-wake cycle. Dr. Susan Mitchell at Harvard explains that increased sleeping during daylight hours combined with nighttime restlessness creates a pattern medical professionals recognize as significant. The brain's natural circadian rhythm becomes disrupted as various body systems begin their natural shutdown process. Consider Harold from Tennessee, whose family noticed he was napping constantly during his favorite afternoon television shows. Within weeks, he was sleeping 18 hours daily, but staying awake most nights, creating exhaustion for both Harold and his caregivers. His daughter initially attributed this to boredom, but medical evaluation revealed his body was entering end-stage processes. If you ignore these dramatic sleep changes, you miss crucial opportunities to adjust care routines and provide appropriate comfort measures during this transition period. Families often struggle with disrupted schedules and increased stress when they don't understand what's happening. Medical professionals emphasize that recognizing sleep pattern changes early allows families to create more supportive environments and seek appropriate guidance from healthcare providers. Monitor and document sleep patterns daily using a simple notebook or phone app. Track how many hours your loved one sleeps during the day and night, noting any significant changes from their normal routine. Share this information with their doctor immediately. If you notice the pattern persisting for more than a week, don't wait to address these changes. Start tracking today because time is precious. Sign 2. Loss of interest in food and significant weight loss. Has your loved one stopped enjoying their favorite meals or lost 10 or more pounds without trying to diet? This goes beyond typical appetite changes that come with aging and represents a fundamental shift in how the body processes nutrition and energy. The loss of interest in food often starts with favorite dishes that once brought pleasure, progressing to complete disinterest in eating altogether. Mayo Clinic end-of-life care specialists report that appetite loss occurs because the digestive system begins slowing down as part of the natural dying process. Jennifer Rodriguez at Mayo Clinic explains that the body's metabolic needs decrease significantly during end-stage life, causing previously enjoyed foods to seem unappealing or even unpleasant. This biological change isn't depression or stubbornness, but the body's way of preparing for its final transition by redirecting energy away from digestion. Ethel from Michigan loved her Sunday family dinners and homemade apple pie for 60 years. When she suddenly started pushing away her plate after 2 bites and stopped asking about dessert, her family knew something had changed. Within 2 months, she had lost 15 pounds. Despite her family's efforts to encourage eating, medical evaluation confirmed she was in her final months. Ignoring appetite changes and significant weight loss delays important care decisions and prevents families from focusing on comfort rather than forcing nutrition. Many families spend precious time worrying about calorie intake instead of understanding this natural process. Medical professionals stress that recognizing appetite loss as part of end-of-life progression helps families shift focus to providing emotional comfort and maintaining dignity. Offer small portions of favorite foods without pressure and track daily intake in a simple food diary. Focus on providing foods that bring comfort rather than forcing nutrition, and consult with healthcare providers about appropriate expectations for eating during this stage. Document weight changes weekly and share this information with medical professionals to ensure proper care planning. Don't dismiss appetite loss as normal aging. Act now to understand what's happening. Sign 3. Increasing social withdrawal and disengagement. When someone who was once social suddenly stops calling friends or attending family gatherings, it may signal more than depression or temporary mood changes. This withdrawal represents a natural psychological preparation for end of life, where individuals begin turning inward and disconnecting from external relationships and activities. The change often surprises families because it seems to contradict the person's lifelong social patterns. Johns Hopkins palliative care research indicates that social withdrawal serves an important psychological function during end-of-life preparation. Michael Chen from Johns Hopkins explains that this disengagement allows individuals to focus energy on internal processes and spiritual preparation while gradually releasing earthly attachments. The withdrawal isn't rejection of loved ones but rather a natural psychological mechanism that helps people prepare for their final transition with less emotional turmoil. Franklin from Ohio attended weekly poker games with the same group for 25 years and never missed his grandson's baseball games. When he suddenly stopped returning phone calls and declined family invitations, everyone assumed he was having a bad month. 6 months later, medical professionals confirmed Franklin's body was preparing for end of life, and his social withdrawal had been an early indicator of this natural process. Missing these signs of social withdrawal prevents families from understanding their loved one's emotional needs and delays important conversations about wishes and preferences. Family members often feel hurt or rejected when they don't realize this behavior represents natural end-of-life preparation rather than personal rejection. Healthcare providers emphasize that recognizing withdrawal patterns helps families provide appropriate emotional support without pressuring their loved one to maintain previous social obligations. Gently encourage connection while respecting their need for solitude and reduce social interaction. Offer low-pressure opportunities for brief visits or phone calls without insisting on participation in larger gatherings or activities. Focus on quality time rather than quantity, allowing your loved one to engage at their comfort level while maintaining emotional availability. Reach out today with understanding and patience because these moments matter more than you realize. Sign 4. Unusual confusion or mental changes. New confusion, talking to deceased relatives, or sudden personality changes can indicate the brain is preparing for transition rather than representing typical dementia progression. These mental changes often include vivid conversations with people who have passed away, disorientation about time and place, or dramatic shifts in personality traits that have remained consistent for decades. The changes may come and go, creating periods of clarity mixed with episodes of confusion. Cleveland Clinic neurological studies show that end-of-life brain changes occur due to decreased oxygen flow and metabolic changes that affect cognitive processing. Patricia Williams from Cleveland Clinic explains that these neurological shifts often create meaningful experiences for dying individuals, including visits from deceased loved ones that provide comfort during transition. Research indicates these experiences serve important psychological functions and shouldn't be dismissed as mere hallucinations or confusion. Vernon from Florida started having detailed conversations with his deceased wife, Martha, describing her presence in the room and relaying messages she wanted to share with family members. His children initially worried about dementia, but Vernon remained clear about current events and family matters between these episodes. Medical evaluation revealed these experiences were part of his natural end-of-life preparation process, not cognitive decline. Family distress increases significantly when they don't understand that these mental changes represent natural end-of-life processes rather than medical emergencies requiring intervention. Many families panic and seek aggressive medical treatments that may not be appropriate or beneficial during this stage. Healthcare professionals stress that understanding these changes as normal helps families respond with comfort and support rather than fear and confusion. Respond calmly to unusual statements or behaviors without arguing or correcting, and seek medical evaluation to distinguish between end-of-life changes and treatable conditions. Document specific episodes with times and details to share with healthcare providers for proper assessment and guidance. Create a peaceful environment that accommodates these experiences while ensuring safety and comfort for your loved one. Document these changes immediately for healthcare providers because proper understanding leads to better care. Sign 5. Decreased mobility and increased weakness. When walking across the room becomes exhausting or they need help with basic tasks they managed yesterday, pay attention to this significant change in physical capability. This isn't typical aging weakness, but a fundamental decrease in energy and strength that affects activities of daily living. The weakness often progresses rapidly over weeks or months, creating dramatic changes in independence and physical function. American Geriatric Society findings demonstrate that end-of-life weakness occurs because the body redirects energy away from muscle function toward maintaining vital organ systems. Dr. Robert Thompson from the American Geriatric Society explains that muscles begin breaking down protein reserves to support essential body functions, creating rapid strength loss that exceeds normal aging patterns. This biological process represents the body's natural prioritization of resources during its final months. Carmen from Texas could walk to her mailbox and tend her small garden until last spring. Suddenly, she needed assistance getting out of her favorite chair and couldn't lift her coffee cup without trembling. Her family initially thought she needed better nutrition, but medical evaluation showed her body was entering end-stage processes that were causing rapid muscle weakness and energy depletion. Safety risks increase dramatically when families don't recognize severe weakness as an end-of-life indicator, leading to dangerous falls and injuries that could be prevented with proper precautions. Many families continue expecting normal activity levels, creating frustration and potential harm for their loved one. Medical professionals emphasize that acknowledging decreased mobility allows families to create safer environments and adjust expectations appropriately. Remove fall hazards throughout the home and arrange supportive care equipment like grab bars, shower chairs, and mobility aids immediately. Accept help with daily activities without pushing for independence that may no longer be safe or realistic for your loved one's current condition. Focus on comfort and safety rather than maintaining previous activity levels that may no longer be appropriate. Make safety changes right now because falls can accelerate decline and create additional complications. Sign 6. Changes in breathing patterns. Irregular breathing, periods of rapid breathing followed by slow breaths or unusual breathlessness during rest, are significant indicators that shouldn't be ignored or attributed to normal aging. These breathing changes often include long pauses between breaths, shallow or labored breathing during activities that were previously manageable, or new patterns that sound different from their normal breathing rhythm. The changes may be subtle initially but become more pronounced over time. National Hospice Foundation guidelines identify breathing pattern changes as reliable indicators of end-of-life progression because respiratory function reflects overall body system status. Dr. Linda Garcia from the National Hospice Foundation explains that breathing irregularities occur as the heart and lungs work less efficiently, creating patterns medical professionals recognize as significant. These changes represent the body's natural adaptation to decreased energy and organ function rather than acute medical emergencies requiring aggressive intervention. Raymond from Georgia developed a new breathing pattern, where he would breathe rapidly for several minutes, then very slowly with long pauses between breaths. His wife noticed this especially during his afternoon rest periods, when he seemed to struggle for air despite not being active. Medical consultation revealed these breathing changes indicated Raymond's body was entering end-stage processes that required comfort-focused care rather than aggressive treatment. Missing respiratory changes prevents families from seeking appropriate comfort measures and may lead to unnecessary medical interventions that don't improve quality of life. During this stage, many families worry about breathing changes without understanding they represent natural progression rather than conditions requiring emergency treatment. Healthcare providers stress that recognizing breathing pattern changes helps families focus on comfort measures and appropriate medical support. Note breathing changes carefully and inform healthcare providers immediately about new patterns, including frequency, depth, and any sounds that seem different from normal. Ensure comfortable positioning that supports easier breathing and consider consulting with palliative care specialists for guidance on comfort measures. Focus on providing reassurance and presence during breathing difficulties rather than panicking about changes that may be part of natural progression. Monitor breathing daily and report changes immediately because proper medical guidance ensures better comfort and care. Sign 7. Desire to resolve unfinished business. When elderly individuals suddenly want to give away possessions, make apologies, or have important conversations they've avoided for years, listen carefully to these requests. This urgent need to settle affairs goes beyond typical estate planning and represents deep psychological preparation for end of life. The desire often includes distributing meaningful items to specific people, reconciling damaged relationships, or sharing important information they've never discussed before. Hospice care specialists nationwide report that end-of-life individuals experience strong drives to complete unfinished emotional and practical business as part of natural psychological preparation for death. Dr. Amanda Foster, a hospice specialist with 30 years of experience, explains that this behavior serves important psychological functions by allowing individuals to achieve peace and closure before their final transition. Research shows that people who complete this unfinished business experience less anxiety and more acceptance during their final weeks. Lawrence from Nevada suddenly insisted on calling his estranged brother after 15 years of silence, apologizing for a family argument neither could remember clearly. He also began giving away his woodworking tools to neighbors and grandchildren, explaining exactly why each person should have specific items. His family initially worried about depression, but Lawrence was actually preparing for his final months by ensuring his important relationships and possessions were properly settled. Missing these final wishes and opportunities for meaningful closure creates lasting regret for both the dying person and surviving family members who don't understand the importance of these conversations. Many families dismiss these requests as morbid thinking instead of recognizing them as healthy psychological preparation. Medical professionals emphasize that supporting these efforts provides tremendous comfort and peace for individuals approaching end of life. Support these conversations and help facilitate connections with people your loved one wants to contact. Even if relationships have been strained or difficult in the past, assist with practical arrangements for distributing possessions according to their wishes without questioning their motivations or timing. Listen carefully to stories and information they want to share, recognizing these conversations as precious final gifts. Honor these requests today because tomorrow may be too late for these meaningful connections and important conversations. Conclusion. Recognizing these 7 signs doesn't mean giving up hope. It means providing the most loving, informed care possible during life's final chapter. When families understand these natural processes, they can focus on comfort, connection, and making every moment meaningful rather than fighting against biological realities. Knowledge empowers you to support your loved one with dignity and peace, while creating precious memories that will comfort your family for years to come. If you've noticed any of these signs in a loved one, share your experience in the comments, because your story might help another family recognize important changes they're witnessing. Like this video to help other seniors and their families access this crucial information, and subscribe for more essential health guidance that could make a real difference in your family's life. Share this with anyone caring for elderly family members, because this knowledge could help them provide better, more compassionate care during life's most precious final chapters.